Now today we're going to look into the space ninja shooter WarFrame and look into the game and see if it's worth your memory, or if you would have to delete it off your console. Warning, once again these are my own opinions about the games I talk about in this series, and if you have any different opinions feel free to comment down below and leave a dislike, which either seems fit. WarFrame is one of the most fun free-to-play games I've played in a while, and this game is even 7 years old now, but I have noticed that each year they have released new content or quality of life changes to keep up with the current titles. My favorite mission type is when you're playing as an Iron Man style space fight, flying around, destroying things with your guns and blades alike, with only debris and smoke behind you. Each update comes with some changes towards the game, good or bad, depending on your own perspective. Personally, the updates have been great in my own opinion, and have kept up the game with being very fresh every time you log back in, and having me wanting to come back. Now, when I first started playing the game, I was not really tied up about the narrative, and honestly I think that's the weakest point of the game in the beginning. The gameplay of dashing and sliding around was the biggest draw for me, especially when I got my very own sword to play with. The enemies are standard when it comes to shooters, well in this case WarFrame falls into the looter category, so in terms of enemies and game modes, you have a variety to play from, all the way from search and destroy to horde battles. One big thing I really like about this game is the customization you have access to with mods and upgrades on your weapons. Now everything in this game has a cost, and it's always some form of resource. So one thing is, if you're planning on upgrading any mods or any of your weapons, it probably will cost some sort of resource that you would have to farm for. We'll get into farming a little bit later, but just so you know. Now, each WarFrame comes with 4 abilities each, and they can range from power-ups to full-on anime super dash, all the way to super powerful magnetic lifting powers. One of the two. So far, the customization you have available for yourself allows you to play for hours and hours, and weeks on weeks, so feel free to enjoy it if you want to. One major thing to talk about is the WarFrames and the marketplace. As a free-to-play player, everything is accessible, but if you want, you can put some money, real world money into it to speed up the process, but that is microtransactions, and that's something I don't really enjoy too much in most of my games, but it is an option. I want to go over the cons of the game, and that was one of them, but sadly, there's a huge part of the game that not a lot of people love, which is grinding out the parts you need to make new warframes and weapons. Even after farming for all the parts, you would need to wait for the item to finish being made, which does take some time. But if that didn't happen, I feel like I would be playing this game for more hours and hours, and I think I probably would lose my life towards it. Which would kind of be very bad. In other words, I believe the game actually has a really nice balance between forcing you to stop and then giving yourself a break. Once again, if you don't like the farm for parts or new warframes and weapons, then I would give it some thought before it takes up space onto your console. I know that's not for everyone. Personally, I really enjoyed the game and what it offers in terms of gameplay and the loot. I literally had to tell myself to stop playing just so I can start on this video. I've had friends that have been playing this game for years, and myself I played about a few months, and even then I have not experienced the entire game, but I do plan on catching up to current title updates. Now the biggest question we have to ask yourself is it worth our memory? If you really love the looter genre, and the gameplay speaks to you since you can live out your anime fantasies with how much dashing and super moves you have, I would say WarFrame deserves a spot in your memory. So the verdict is, yes, it is worth your memory, 10-0.